Hello once more and welcome in the afternoon session, at least in European time zones. So we are now starting this session that is much more practical. So it is a session on learning design in mathematics with innovative free to use tool. And let me just remind you that at the beginning we will have a presentation, approximately half an hour, and then you will have opportunity to ask questions. So you can ask questions by raising your hand, of course, virtually here in Zoom, but also you can use, and you're encouraged to use this tool here for chat. So Chris actually left it here in a message section, and then of course we can discuss a little bit more in this second part. So first of all, let me introduce the authors. So my name is Blaženka Divjak, and I'm professor of mathematics at the Faculty of Organization Informatics, University of Zagreb. And here you can also see my co-authors, Darko, Grabar, and Petra, Vondra. Darko and Petra, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. So I am, as Blaženka said, Darko, and I work at the Faculty of Organization Informatics, and I'm head of our software development center, which was responsible for development of this tool that you will be seeing today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Petra Vondra. I am the head of the Center for International Projects at Faculty of Organization and Informatics. And as Professor Blaženka Divjak said, I worked with Darko and Blaženka at the development of this tool.
So thank you, Darko and Petra. As you can see from actually heard from the introduction, we are quite interdisciplinary. So we have software developers. Also, Petra, she was in charge of mostly around user experience, but also we have educators of all sorts in the team. And here I'm going to present a little bit more. Let me just admit people in, okay. More about this tool. So first of all, let me just encourage you to take this route. So it is learning-design.eu. It is the address where the tool is. So it's free to use. So if you have opportunity right now, you can type the address in and then try to register, because in the second part of this presentation, you will have opportunity, of course, to ask questions or to use a tool a little bit more. Darko, would you like just to say a few words how to register here? It's quite easy, but still.
Sorry, just to unmute myself. So basically, procedure is quite easy. In order to use the tool, the tool is a web application. It's free to use. You can access it through this URL. But in order to use it, you have to create an account. In order to create an account, you just have to click on a login button, and then at the bottom of the login screen, you have the sentence saying, don't have an account yet, sign up. In order to sign up, you just have to write first name, last name, email, and your password. And then you will receive registration link or registration confirmation link on your email. After you confirm your registration through this link, then you can just log in and start using the tool. So it's a matter of 1 minute procedure.
So if this first part is quite boring for you, you can do it in parallel. Okay, so this online tool for learning design has been developed by Laboratory for Learning Analytics here at our institution, but we work quite a lot with the Open University because Open University actually has one of the tool that we use to inspire ourselves in development or our own tool on learning design. Also, this work has been supported by several EU projects. So you can see the names of the projects here. Rapid and Teach for Edu projects finished, but ILET project, so Innovating Learning Design in Higher Education, is project in progress. You can find more information on web. So what is learning design? Let me just remind you, even though, yeah, sometimes it is not necessary, but let me do it. So learning design is the framework that supports learning experiences. So it means that we actually answer questions like what, when, where, and how to teach. So we should make decisions about the content, structure, timing, pedagogical strategies, sequences of learning activities, type and frequencies of assessment in the course, and also the nature of technology used to support learning. Of course, all this, we presume, should be based on learning outcomes. So this tool, we call it balanced design planning. So it's the research-based, innovative, and constructive alignment oriented. There's a reason I said that is based on learning outcomes, because constructive alignment, as we know, started with learning outcomes and then starts with learning outcomes, and then all the planning, teaching and learning activities and assessment need to be aligned with the learning outcomes of the course. So these principles here we use is student-centeredness, then horizontal and vertical alignment. So horizontal means alignment with the learning outcomes of the course, but vertical means that we should align our course with some probably bigger structure. Sometimes it is a study program mostly, but it can be some other educational structure. And also we should invest some resources and workload planning. And what we implement, it is a student workload in the tool. So to plan the student workload, not so much teacher workload, even though there have been some, let's say, remarks and comments from users that it would be better to have also teacher workload in the system. And then we try to also consult and introduce innovations based on theoretical backgrounds, learning theories, innovative pedagogies, and feedback from our users. And our users are multiple type of users. So it can be teachers and instructional designers, but also course designers in industry. Yeah, because industry also need some courses for their clients, for their employers, for outreach. So it has been used also for that, and also for educational leaders, because we also provide in the course some interesting and useful analytics. And right now we have around 1,200 users. From more than 30 countries around the globe, so different types of users, and 600 courses planned. And as I said, we try to use this constructive alignment, so to frame the course, so put the course in some perspective, describe a course a bit, and then list learning outcomes of the course, plan topics and units of the course, teaching and learning activities as a constituent units of topics, and then also use some analytics in this design cycle to see if this planning has been done in accordance with principles we would like to promote here. Actually, the users actually are those that to decide if the course is designed based on learning outcomes, intended learning outcomes, but also based on the principles they would like to introduce into teaching and learning. And then, so it means, I'll show you an example in a few minutes, but let me just say here that each course is described by type of a course, then workload, some number of learners, mode of delivery, status, and also learning outcomes with weights. So we promote that all these learning outcomes should be put into some relations in a way to see which learning outcome is most prominent or more prominent than other on the level of a course. And course can be anything. So it can be MOOC, it can be course within the study program, it can be e-course for industry. So all types of, let's say, this educational resources structured somehow and prepared for learners can be called course. And then in the later stages, we can use some planning and plan our course by topics, but also related to learning outcomes and the types and the technology and so on. And finally, there is analytics available. We can learn about our plans, if our plans have been fulfilled or not. I'll show you a little bit more about it. What is really important around assessment, that also assessment can be planned really in more details, because we can distinguish between formative, summative assessment, then relate assessment to the learning outcomes, see the coverage, then relate the assessment weights to the learning outcome weights, workload invested, and so on. And then you can also see within the course, if you register, then it is a help section, so you can find some learning designs prepared for learning. So there are some video lectures, but also some examples of learning design you can use here. So there are some of them. And then also we've been working on that last couple of years. So we published some papers, and some of them have been related to assessment as well. Assessment validity and learning analytics, that was published in British Journal of Educational Technology. I think it was last year. No, it was last year was online publication, and this year was a full publication, so we have to change it here. Then also learning analytics dashboard, how to use dashboards to inform students about the course and courses and other aspects of teaching and learning. And probably this is the most important one here for the balanced learning design. And also we published one on e-assessment in mathematics in International Journal of Educational Technology. In mathematics. And these are some testimonials you can check, and you will see that usually they are quite defined our tool useful, helpful, and that most of the users will continue to use it. But also, we got some feedback that some additional training teachers need to not just to use the course, but to design their teaching and learning in much more in line with some modern development. Okay, of course, we can use this if you think about what are actually the problem solved by this product or service. We can say, first of all, that it is wonderful if we have this kind of a control because of the quality assurance of designing study program, courses or modules. Then it can be kind of let's say, reaction answers or taking into account students' feedback. For that, then learning design with the evidence, and of course solving some problems like we know that learning design, it is very important for student learning. So there is one reference I found that actually indicated that more than 60% of student motivation is related to the learning design we've been implementing in the course. And here I'm going to give you one example of the course of mathematics. So it's discrete mathematics and graph theory. It is an invitation link, but let me just, if you register, okay, let me just share the this link with you so you can check for yourself as well. Okay, let me find where is the chat here. So if you register, you can enter this course as well, and you will see how it works. So you can travel through the course by yourself. So it is the designing course. It's not LMS, but it is a learning design that is a step before implementation in the LMS, learning management system. Let me now just share the screen with to go into the course in more detail. Let me just find where it is. Oops. Yeah, it is very okay. So I'm now within the course. I hope that you can see my screen with my courses in learning design. Okay, Darko, at least you can see it. Okay. So here, when you register and enter the course, as I said, you can see this help here, where you can find some video lessons and some examples of the course, some showcases you can see here, and one of them is also introductory course in mathematics, but here I'm going to show some other course. And you can build your own courses based on the principles. Let me just admit somebody is coming. Okay. Okay, and then you can actually build your own course. So one of the courses I've prepared is this discrete mathematics with graph theory. And you can see here the first page of this course details. And at the bottom of the page, you can find also contributors. So you can find 2 contributors here, and you can actually ask your colleagues to join you in preparation of the course, in planning. Just copy this link here and share the link, so you can work collaboratively only. But if you, for example, would like to share your design with your student, but not allow student to change anything, then you share your learning design. So copy this invitation link, and that is actually the link I copied for you. So when you enter the course, you can see everything, but you're not able to change. But if you share this left-hand link, then the people with this link can change the course or work with you on the course. So at the beginning, you just enter a few information about the course. So this is the course discrete mathematics, and then I put also learner workload. It's based on ECTS credit, but it can be based on hours as well, as you like. So for European, most of the European countries are using this ECTS credit transfer system, but for the others, it can be okay to use workload in hours. For example, in industry, they don't use any ECTS. And then it is a number of ECTS and ECTS divisor. So it means that the number of hours is 6 multiplied by 28 here. approximately what's the number of learners is 120. Then mode to deliver is blended, and you have two options how to plan: simple one or advanced. Advanced is it is much more related to learning outcomes on a teaching and learning activities level. So I use this advanced, but you can use to start with simple. It is a private or publicly available course. I put it, this is private course, and put this status is in planning. So I prepared this one in English. I have the one that is completed in Croatian, but this one is in English because, yeah, it's better to have English for this kind of a presentation. And then we can start with planning. So you can see here the topics. And when you see the topic, then you can look at some of this topic, and within topic you can find units and teaching and learning activities. For example, in this one, so it's directed graphs. So the plan is to start with a video, then to have some lecture, then discussion, then a quiz, some formative assessment, then exercises, so tutorials, seminars, and so on. Then independent student practice and research on algorithms. So it means that here I plan the whole sequence of teaching and learning activities, and all these activities has been described somehow. For example, if you look at this, this is a lecture. So it is a rather simple one. So it's acquisition, the type of learning, because it can be acquisition, discussion, investigation, practice, production, assessment. It's acquisition because it's quite a low level when we start and present something to students. They will have, of course, opportunity to learn and acquire some learning outcomes on a higher level, but here it is just to start with. And I can choose learning outcome to which this activity actually contribute to. Learning outcome here is define fundamental notions and concepts from graph theory and so on. And then workload in minutes, then activity is delivered hybrid, synchronous, asynchronous, it's synchronous, it's teacher present, it can be collaborative, feedback is given by teacher. So it is this kind of activity. If we plan, for example, a short quiz, it's assessment type. And since it is if you have any doubts about it, there is a descriptions and examples here you can use. For example, if I'm in doubts and put discussion here, then I will see from this description examples that it is not a good choice. So yeah, it was assessment. And then I can also choose, it is a formative assessment, it's hybrid, formative assessment, and students get some points, not a lot of points, just 1 point here, related to this learning outcome. It can be also 0 if we decide so, but this is how we can work. So we can describe all this planning, teaching and learning units here, and also some project work you can find here. We describe it. The previous one was actually prepared in line with the flipped classroom. This is a project-based learning or work-based learning. So you can have different ones. And then, of course, periodical exams here. And when you plan, for example, some examination, you can plan in quite many details, not just the workload and the activity delivery and feedback provider, but also distribution of points related to the learning outcomes. You can see here that these learning outcomes with stars actually are related to the previously we related this learning outcomes with this assessment here. And when you finish it, you can share it with your students, so student can be aware at all the time where they are, what is in front of them, and also what are the workload needed for some of these topics. Of course, this is estimation, but still, I would say it is a quite elaborated here. And what we are really proud of, and that's the reason why we build this tool, is this analysis section. So you can, when you plan it, you can go back and forth between this planning and analysis all the time. So for example, you can see here the workload. So we planned 6, we are very near here with this workload, it's approximately 6 ECTS credits. Then we can see the distribution of our credits by different type of learning, so acquisition, discussion, investigation, practice, production, assessment. Yeah, probably you would expect that in mathematics, students should invest quite a lot of practice, so we plan it here, but also some research, investigation, production, because they work on a project, so we plan for them to have some product at the end, and so on, so you can see it. And immediately from that, you can see if this distribution of the planned workload of students by different type of learning, it is in line or not with your idea of your course. So we had examples of our colleagues telling us, okay, we would like to have very active students, so we planned activities to activate our students, and then this green bar was the tallest. So probably what they preach and what they teach are not in line very well. Of course, you can cover that and look at it through all these topics, so you can see how it works for each of the topics here. Then on the right-hand side, you can analyze your course by mode of delivery. It is on-site, online, hybrid, what the number of activities, but also item count, but also workload count. Synchronous, asynchronous, teacher present, not present, and so on, and also collaboration, collaborative or not collaborative, so individual activities for students. Then feedback planned. So here we can see that we have the most of the activities. We also plan some feedback for students, and the feedback provider are mostly peers. Okay, then automated, mostly teachers, then peers. Then we also have automated, because we use databases with questions prepared in advance, but also other sources like employers. Activities assessment, that I would say it is quite interesting, because we can see that we have here 4 summative but 17 formative assessment, assessment type. And assessment provider, mostly it's automated, because we have a lot of quizzes that's automated, they're automated, but also it can be peer teachers and so on. And here you can see also how these learning outcomes weights, then workload, and finally contribution of assessment to learning outcomes is how they are related. Of course, it doesn't mean that all these pictures, bars should be identical, but they should be rather similar, because if we said that we would like to put stress on work efficiently in a team on modeling and solving problems by means of graph theory and discrete mathematics, it's the most important. But at the same time, if we plan a low workload of student on that, it would be a problem, and especially if we are not contributing any assessment points to that workload. Of course, it doesn't mean that, as I said, it should be identical, but all these 3 graphs needs to be quite similar, and you can see it during the planning as well. And then we can see workload per learning type related to each of the learning outcomes. So I think it's quite useful. And at the end, you can see this heat map with assessment, formative, summative, different topics and learning outcomes. And you can check here if all these learning outcomes have been covered 100%, at least planned to be covered. Okay, I think that I can stop here and then ask Darko and Petra. I don't know if I forget something, you can fill the gaps. Or we can give audience opportunity to ask questions. Darko?
Yeah, I think that you more or less cover everything.
Yeah, we try to be in a half an hour with this presentation, then to give you opportunity to ask questions and also to register yourself and also try to figure out how to use it. So as I said, it's free to use and we have some further plans, but let us first cover your questions or if you have any comments, you can raise your hand here and ask by your voice in Zoom, or you can use chat, but I don't see any. So it is a BDE tool workshop. Let me see it. No. We can wait for a while to see if you. I don't know. Do you have any problem with the problems with the registration? Have you tried to register yourself? Ah, okay. So no problem registering. Okay, with the registration, we tried to use rather simple format, so you can use it. You can also share the design with your colleagues, or you can just use it for yourself to have kind of a reference point for your learning design. Okay, if there are no questions and I cannot see any of these questions, let me just show the other courses. So you can prepare your courses on a more or less elaborated way. So I just showed you this discrete mathematics with graph theory that was prepared with this advanced option, but you can start, for example, to use it with a simple option. Here, let me just find one of this simple option. I think this one is simple option. So it is teaching entrepreneurial competencies. Again, you can see here that we have learning outcomes. That learning outcomes has been have been accompanied with weights, but planning is not so let's say so many details as we saw before. But analysis also, as we can see here, there are no details about the assessment. For example, here and relation of assessment to the learning outcomes, because we are not covering this kind of information here. Yeah, Mati? Yeah.
Yeah, so I hope you hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, so somewhat technical questions. So what are the export options of this? So if I were to design all my courses with this and the whole university were to do this, can I then populate various e-learning systems with the course details from this using some kind of an API or something?
Yeah, so probably I'm going to disappoint you a bit, because there are just, right now, we just have two options. So you can export to Excel or to PDF. So there is no, for a moment, export into any LMSs. The plan is that we try to use this learning design to also recommend some activities, types of activities, for example, in Moodle. And you already can find it here, because if you look at some of these options, you can find when you plan in that it can be discussion group or something like that, or some other activities and the type of the activities you have in your learning management system. But for now, any export we have is in form of Excel. Yeah, so we can download an Excel file or PDF. There is also an option if there is an institutional user, that we put the courses together into study program, and it is a bit different in that way, because then you need to contact us to provide you with some additional information how to actually use it on the level of study program. But on a course level, you and your colleagues can collaboratively work on the course. I don't know if I answer your question.
Yeah, well, this sounds sensible, but in the longer term, I assume that this program could be adapted to connect to Moodles and whatnot.
Maybe Darko, you can add some info on that as well.
Yeah, so basically we are having this also discussions, the similar discussions, and we are planning to investigate the possibility of this, feasibility of this in the scope of this ILET project. It is of course difficult to cover a lot of learning management systems, so we will probably just focus on learning on the Moodle, but we will try to at least see if it's possible to make it something out of it, because there are, as you probably know, if you are using some kind of learning management system, there are more than one way of doing the same thing. So it's also if we would be able to do it, it will put a lot of additional effort in this designing phase, in order to that we are then afterwards be able to connect it with LMS.
Yeah, well, sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Let me see if we have some more questions in our environment or here. No. Okay, if you don't have any additional question, what I would like to also invite you to try the tool, see how it works, how you can use it in a meaningful way for your courses. And if you have any additional question, you can send the questions to us, because there is a contact address in the tool, so you can use it. And but some specific questions, of course, also can be related to your experience using the tool. And now we are also, let me just share the screen. We are having some research of the experiences of our users within this ILET Innovating Learning Design Higher Education project. So we have partners from several European countries. So it is from University of Oulu from Finland. And then Open University London, Goethe from Frankfurt, Germany, and of course, University of Zagreb. So we are partners in these projects, and the aim of the project is to further develop the tool. And we are really happy that we have these European projects, because it actually give us opportunity to keep the tool free for users. Okay, so let me thank you once more to participate in this short tutorial on learning design, balanced design planning. And I invite you to use it and ask questions if you have any more. So have a nice day, and thank you once more.